I'm very worried about the world right now, guys. Ugh, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to get political. I don't even want to say it's imposter syndrome. I know nothing. I've always had this very weird relationship with being observed. I was putting on probably so many different versions of myself to please everyone else around me because I was so conflict avoidant. People observe me, but I've never felt understood. Never. You don't tell me I know I need therapy. Send me the check. It's almost like there's two different versions of ourselves within us. It just made everything far more confusing. Maybe I'm just weird, or maybe that's entirely normal. I completely understood. I saw right through him into exactly who he is. Obviously it traumatized me, clearly. No, I understand now, and I need you to speak to me on my level because I'm tired of not being understood. I know that's kind of just an intrinsic part of humanity and the human experience. I view myself as like this little girl or this little child because that's the only person I've ever known. Aside from my soul, it is one of my favorite things about myself. It makes it even more difficult because it's like, we got it. We got it. Like, we're almost there. Like, we almost got it. It forces you to reckon with that notion again. And it forces you to be like, remember, it's you, and that's that. It's up to you to understand yourself and to be okay with yourself and to be okay with the fact that people might not ever understand you, and in fact, they will never fully understand you. And you will probably never even fully understand you. And then I have it and I'm holding it and I'm like, okay, now what? That's how I feel. You know why I'm sad. It's a little bit of a scary test. It's difficult losing a part of yourself. It really is. Lately, it's just hit different. Like, it's kind of epic. I feel like I have so much more than I need. I may not have everything that I want or wished for, but I have more than that. Have a chipper day, guys. I'm about to come home and make a YouTube video. I got a Peter's veggie burger. I'll like talk about my day whenever I start the video. I just opened up the bag and they gave me a free cookie. And I know this sounds like I'm just being super emotional or whatever, but today has been really hard. That made me feel so good. Like, that makes me so happy. How nice is that? I know that I'm crying, but I feel so happy because I really just needed that from the universe right now. So I love that. I literally love that so much. So I'm gonna go into H-E-B and pick up some food so I don't starve. And then I'm gonna get on here and we'll talk to each other. Hello. I am wearing shorts, just so you're aware. First of all, I'm starving. I'm literally starving. I haven't eaten yet today, so let's have my veggie burger. You know I love my veggie burger. God, guys, I'm so hungry. Oh, it is June 20th. And it is 10:02 at night right now. I had some croissant this morning. I went to coffee, so I did split a croissant. Have a chipper day, guys. Oh my god, I was so hungry. I was really hungry. Oh my god. This is what I needed. Lately, sometimes after I eat, I've been feeling not good, which is not good in and of itself. That used to happen to me a while ago. So I'm just taking my time with eating it so that my stomach doesn't hurt. Earlier, I really wanted to film a YouTube video. Now, I'm just a little bit tired, so I don't really know how I'm feeling or how entertaining I'm gonna be. There's just some things that I kind of wanted to talk about, and wow, I look so gross. Guys, can I be honest with you? Let me just be honest with you, okay? Let me be honest with you. No lies. This is a no lies household. We're a house of truth. Let's get over stuffed animals together. Let's be real. Let's be real. Today, for me, was difficult. Today has been difficult. It really has. And that's okay. That's okay. I've been having a series of good days, so I'm not gonna let a couple bad days get me down, but yesterday sucked. And today it was difficult. Yesterday was my first very busy day at work. It was a holiday, Juneteenth, so a lot of people had off, so a lot of people were calling in. If you don't know what I do, I work in retention. I am that annoying person that you have to talk to whenever you're trying to cancel out your account. That's my job. So naturally, I encounter a lot of people who are generally upset and they don't want to speak to me and they're under the impression that I'm trying to save them. Sure, I work in retention. That's my job. Don't punish me for it. But it's like, I signed up for this. You know, I signed up for this and I love my job. Don't get me wrong, I love my job. Sometimes it is stressful and I have TMJ. So when people yell in my ear, not only does it hurt my feelings, but it gives me friggin' tinnitus, okay? It does. That's just frustrating for me because I don't have to scream at you to explain how I'm feeling or what I need done. Ugh, you know what I mean? It's just like, don't yell at me. I don't like to be yelled at. It really hurts my feelings. So I don't like when people yell. Wow, that kind of felt good to get out of my system, to be honest. That did feel good. I don't know also if it's because it's almost a full moon or something or however that impacts me, but I just have a lot of feelings today. And I had a great morning. I met my friend Canyon for coffee and we talked about like the world and everything. Maybe that's a start. Maybe that's a start. Because I'm very worried about the world right now, guys. I'm very worried about it. You know, there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. I feel like we could be on the cusp of something dangerous or whatever. I don't really want to fearmonger or anything like that, but I don't know. If you keep up with the news, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on pretty much everywhere. And there always has been and there always will be, but there's a lot of really imminent stuff taking place. It's freaking me out, you know, I'm not trying to get political or anything, but obviously we know what's happening in Palestine right now. We know what's happening with Russia and the United States. I mean, we're a freaking enemy for once. Dude, Putin is freaking scary. Putin is scary. That's honestly the cusp of it. That's the cusp of it. There's a million other things. Oh. There's just a lot of scary stuff happening. I was talking about all that scary stuff. Then he said something that made me, it was a compliment and it felt good, but then it made me think and it just, we were talking about everything and how I should probably go back to school because I do love to learn and I do well in a school environment. It really, for some odd reason, is fulfilling to me. I don't know if I have some sort of like validation or something, like I don't know. I mean, I definitely probably do, but like I've always loved school. I always wanted to get like my PhD in something, but you know, that's not the way the world works financially. Not for me. Well, yes, everyone has equal access. You know, I don't even want to get into that conversation because everything is so freaking controversial. But anyways, my point is he said that I was talking about how, yeah, you know, my mom thinks the same thing because she thinks I'm really smart and I've got a lot of potential for the world that I'm not fulfilling. And he's like, yeah, you are really smart. And I was like, thank you so much. Because he's really smart. And I mean the smart that's like really freaking smart. He's got an edge on people because he has a freaking photographic memory, so he can recall things from the time that he was like 3 years old. He can tell you any capital of any country. He can tell you about what sort of regime's ruling it, pretty much who the leader of that country is, a little bit of history about it. He's been to tons of them. He's just a really smart guy. So I don't know, like, it just like, I believe the term is, see, I don't even want to say it's imposter syndrome because I know that I'm smart. I know that I'm smart, but then it just doesn't even feel like I am. Then it feels like I'm a fraud because, oh, I'm presenting this version of myself to people that makes them think that I'm like some super smart person, but I'm not a super smart person. It, like, the more I know and the more I learn about things, I'm like, okay, the less I know. I know nothing. I literally am such an idiot. I don't know anything. But that's frustrating to me because, like, why am I speaking that way about myself? Why am I speaking that way about myself? Because I am smart. I'm just not that smart, but I am, like, ugh. You know what I mean? Do you guys feel that? Like, do you understand where I'm coming from? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Kevin? Do you understand where mommy's coming from? I digress. For some reason in me that made me think about perception and about how people perceive me. And I think I take that statement back. I do feel like I am a pretty smart person. I'm not the smartest person, but there's always going to be people out there smarter than you. Okay, here's the thing. I don't necessarily think I'm smart. I think that I have a mind that is open and rational enough for me to be able to receive information well. That doesn't mean I retain it, and I think that's one of the reasons why I think I'm such a freaking idiot too, is because I can't remember jack beep. I cannot remember anything. Why do you think I'm sitting here in front of a camera making these videos? If I could store them in my brain, like with a freaking photographic memory, I wouldn't be here venting to a camera because I would have all of my memories on replay. I film these things so that I will remember them, okay? That got me thinking about perception. This is one thing that I was thinking about. I've always had this very weird relationship with being observed. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you get where I'm coming from? I've always felt like I wasn't really being seen. And part of it's definitely because I was putting on probably so many different versions of myself to please everyone else around me because I was so conflict avoidant and I just wanted everyone to be happy so that there would be no strife or no disorder around me. So I was a major people pleaser. And I feel like that probably fricked with the way that people perceived me. I feel like, yeah, people observe me, but I've never felt understood. Never. Even when I was a kid, I think especially when I was a little kid, when I think of myself, this is probably weird or whatever, and I know I need therapy. Don't tell me I know I need therapy. Send me the check. Let me send you the bill. I've always felt like I've been observed. I feel like people have always watched me or whatever, but I feel like I've never really been like understood. And there's a huge difference between observing and understanding. I feel like everyone observes and they perceive me in one way, but it's not the whole way. There's so many different aspects of myself, and I feel like no one has ever really no one has understood most of those aspects before entirely, and that's something that I've always struggled with. When I was younger, everyone would always tell me, they would always be like, oh, you'll understand when you're an adult, or you will understand when this happens. And it would just frustrate me because I talked about this before in another video. I think it was, what's the video? Embracing the pain of others to find yourself. Good memory. I was just talking about how I've always been me. I've always been the same. You know, some of us, we have this voice in our head that kind of like narrates our lives, and it's, I don't know. It's almost like there's two different versions of ourselves within us. It's the one who's enacting and the one who is guiding. And I think that voice guiding me, it's always been the same. And I always knew when I was younger. I always knew like everything. Whenever they were like, oh, you'll understand this when you're older, or you'll understand that. It's like, no, I understood it then and I understand it now. And it was just so frustrating because everyone was seeing me. They weren't understanding me and they didn't know who I was, and they treated me in a way that didn't mesh well with my mind because it just made everything far more confusing. I think maybe that's sometimes common when people face traumatic childhoods, or maybe I'm just weird, or maybe that's entirely normal. I don't know, but I do know that that's always been the case. Say we would be talking about whatever, like my dad, for instance. Let's just take him for example. Like I briefly touched on before, crazy. And I know because I think I definitely got part of his brain, but it's like I knew the stuff that he was doing and I knew why he was doing it. I knew everything. Like I completely understood. Like I saw right through him into exactly who he is, and I know that I did for a fact because when I was freaking 6 years old, 4 years old, 8 years old, I remember myself in those moments, and I'm freaking sitting there observing his behavior, psychoanalyzing it. That's the reason I'm able to get through it. Obviously it traumatized me clearly, but like that's the reason I was able to get through it all, because I understood it, and I understood it so well. And it would drive me absolutely nuts when people would be like, you'll understand when you're an adult. No, I understand now, and I need you to speak to me on my level because I'm tired of not being understood. Ugh. And that's how I feel now. And that sometimes is frustrating because I know that's kind of just an intrinsic part of humanity and the human experience, but it really frustrates me because I feel like when I am brought back to feeling that way, or kind of like facing the fact of being that I will never be understood in the way that I understand myself, it brings me back to the feeling of when I was a kid being misunderstood. And I think that's why I view myself as like this little girl or this little child, because that's the only person I've ever known. And when I became that way is when I was a child. And so when I say that I literally haven't changed since I was little, I popped out the womb like this, and the second that I gained consciousness, this same girl has been in my brain. Like I never was into that childish, you know, I wish I was. I wish I was. No, because I really like my brain. It's a hard brain to carry. It's a hard brain to carry, but I do love it. Aside from my soul, it is one of my favorite things about myself is that I have a really cool brain. And it's kind of cool that people don't understand it. But it's just like, sometimes it's just frustrating because we live in this world all together. We don't know what it is. We don't know why we're here, but we are. And there's so many of us and we're experiencing super similar things, but it's like we're connected, but we're not, or I'm not. I don't know. It's just really frustrating to me because, by the way, I'm sorry to always talk about this, but no, I'm not, because it's my feelings and I'm allowed to have my feelings, and if I need to bring it up, I'm going to bring it up because this is my diary, and if you're not happy with it, click off. Click off, okay? If you want to stay, welcome to my brain, have a good time, but also, yes, I'm going to bring that topic up. A person who was in my past. Like, the hardest thing of that individual being in my past is the fact that I know that that person came closer to understanding me than anyone else in the world has. And it's frustrating because I feel the same way about that person, and maybe why he wasn't able to understand me, I don't know, but like when I view that person or when I perceive him in my head, I think of him as like a little boy, you know, just trying to get through this crazy world, and that's the same way that I view myself, but what does that matter? What is that relevant to this conversation? I don't know. That is difficult to go through as well, because when you get that close to being understood and when you understand someone that deeply, it's super difficult when you lose it, especially when you're someone like myself who has never felt that way, who's never felt understood. It makes it even more difficult because it's like, we got it. We got it. Like, we're almost there. Like, we almost got it. And then it all just shatters in front of your eyes. How crazy is that? Yeah, I know. It's like, damn, it forces you to reckon with that notion again. And it forces you to be like, remember, it's you, and that's that. It's up to you to understand yourself and to be okay with yourself and to be okay with the fact that people might not ever understand you, and in fact, they will never fully understand you. And you will probably never even fully understand you. And that's like the point of the salt. It's just like, You see, I have an issue with that. I know that there are things that are the way they are. And I know that there are just aspects of existence that are the way they are. Yet, why do I have to constantly mull over them until I, like, understand every little thing about it and know every little detail, and then I have it and I'm holding it and I'm like, okay, now what? Now what? Now what? We're not gonna let it go. We're not gonna let it go. This little thought is ours now. This is ours. And we're gonna think about it all the time when something reminds us of that. It's like, you know the phrase, I'm not gonna say it, that's a really bad word in Spanish. That's a really bad word. A-L-B. That's how I feel. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you get this? I probably sound crazy, and I know that I have a lot of mental illnesses in my head, likely, and that's okay. That's okay. I like the way that I am. And I know I like to complain about it, but I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining, you know? I'm just explaining. Because this is my way of thinking right now, but it might not be my way of thinking tomorrow. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, well, you just said you've always been the same person, and you've always understood, and you've always thought the same thing. I know, but we're all evolving and we're all growing, but I'm still the same person. You know, I don't know. It's just like, isn't that frustrating? I guess that's pretty much everything. Let's take a bite of our burger. ¿Tú comiste? So yeah, I don't know. That's just what I've been thinking about a lot today. And I've been really sad because, you know why I'm sad. I've talked about a bunch of stuff on this channel. You know why I'm sad. It's just like, one, this world is a scary place, right? It's a scary place. And we have the most epic blessing of getting to experience it, but it is a scary place. And it's a little bit of a scary test, okay? And I feel like I'm going to throw up because I'm so anxious right now. But I don't know. But you get what I'm saying, right? If you literally take like 5 minutes to scroll through the world news, you'd be right here with me. You are right here with me. You know, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, and everything is up in the air, and it has been for a while. And I'm about to jet off to another freaking state and live there alone with my friend for a year. and that's exciting for me, and I've always wanted to do that. Yet at the same time, I cherish the people that I love, and I want to be around them, you know? I want to be around my cat. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just like we've got that going on, and it's just really hard to like sit with the feeling of losing something that you grew comfortable having, because it's like, okay, I had this aspect of existence that made existence this much more comfortable in this capacity. Now I have to get used to living without it, and that's a blessing, and I get to learn so much from that, and I get to become someone I'm so proud of and I love so much. But it's difficult. It's difficult losing a part of yourself. It really is, and that's something that I've had to deal with. Don't get me wrong, I am not depressed like I used to be depressed. There was a period of time there when I was really depressed, and I'm not even going to say that I am depressed, because I have faced depression and this is not it. This is not it. But I am struggling mentally. I am. And it's living on this earth is hard. And there's a lot of days where I'm just like, do I have to be here? Do I have to be here? Thank God I have family members, or I would have been out of this bitch. I would have been. But anyways, I'm not depressed. I'm just like, I'm going through it. And I have been going through it for a while now. 22 years now. But I've been going through it in a different capacity for a few months now. Longer than just 3 months. Longer than, you know, that recent thing happened. Like, I've been going through it for a little while now. And lately, it's just hit different. It's just hit different. But I'm learning so much. I want to get that straight. There is not like, and life is not all bad, sad, whatever. I'm learning so much from this, and I think that that's why all of this doesn't feel that bad, because I am becoming like the most epic version of myself, literally. Like, it's kind of epic. And I'm not saying that I'm growing like super rich or super happy or super lucky or whatever, but I feel rich. I feel rich, and not in the financial way. Because let me tell you something. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. We're gonna manifest abundance. We're gonna manifest abundance. Yeah. I feel very blessed for the position that I'm in right now. And even though I don't have a lot right now, sorry, I'm not gonna cry, I had a burp. Even though relatively I don't have a lot right now, I feel like I have so much more than I need, because I'm just so blessed for everything that I have left in my life, and I have so much appreciation for everything that I had in my life, and I just feel like I am so blessed and so happy, and not happy, you know, I'm content. Not that I'm content. I don't know how to describe it, other than the fact that all of the pain that I've been going through lately has really, really, really helped me continuously evolve into someone that I am so proud of. And I've always tried to be a good person. I really always have. Really have, but I just feel like I've come into like this angelic version of myself where everything that comes out of me, I try to just make good. I'm just coming into myself a bit in the sense that regardless of whatever happens around me, I'm so aligned with myself and in tune with who I am that I can feel nothing but gratitude. Yeah, I can feel a sprinkle of sadness or whatever the frick in between, but ultimately, at the end of the day, and behind every thought, is a big pile of gratitude for everything that I have in this world. Because I have become someone who I do love so much and who I am so proud of, it makes everything worthwhile, because it's like it all got me here, and I'm in a place that I love. I may not have everything that I want or wished for, but I have more than that. And that's my viewpoint on life, I guess, right now. So that's pretty nice. My camera's flashing. It's about to die. I will say goodbye to you guys. Goodbye, guys.